First of all, just thank you guys all for you for coming and for being here. So just put a little bit of context into our interpretation of critical is we're taking this kind of take on critical action. So all three speakers that you see up here today, they have done something or are currently doing something that they're taking a critical action on some sort of issue that they found really important and needed action being taken on it. So first question I'm going to have for all three of you is just basically simple. Tell us who you are, your business, and what it is that you do.
Can we take the mic or just?
If you need to, I think.
Can everybody hear me through the monitors? Okay, cool. Awesome. My name is Donnell McCant. My business is Donnell McCant Outdoors, and I'm an outdoor nature tour guide. I seek to take anybody who wants to reconnect with nature outdoors and release the fear.
Awesome. My name is Seth Ray. I have the honor and privilege to lead an organization called Go Build Love. We do water and building projects around the world, and also started a little frozen tree shop called Rock and Water, where all the proceeds from that go to help our water and building projects as well.
Hi, I'm Holly Lichtenfeld. First of all, I want to start out by saying how excited I am to have been invited and included here. This is an amazing thing going on that I didn't know about, so thank you so much. So I work for Sustainabase. What we do is we track greenhouse gas emissions for governments and companies. We have a software system that does that so that they can understand their operations, where they're having the biggest impact, and then work on improving that and then track what the initiatives they're doing, whether they're having impact or not.
Awesome. So what I liked about kind of the three of them is they are we have earth, water, energy. It's like Captain Planet going on. And you guys really round each other out well in that regard. So you guys are all tackling a different issue. So what it is about the particular issue that you're tackling that really drew you to it? What is it that kind of pulled you from the sidelines and made you spring into action? So kind of think of this as a little bit as a really quick origin story.
Why don't you start? Go ahead. We'll make our way down.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So essentially, our little origin story was that I got invited to go on a trip to Haiti back in 2013 with just a bunch of guys, and we were really just invited there to make a mess of a building that was in the process of being renovated. It was a special needs dorm in a rescue home / orphanage area outside of Port-au-Prince. And so for me personally, I'd never been out of the country, had never seen poverty before. And so after a week of just being there, seeing some things that I'd never seen, never thought that really even existed in the world that we live in today, knowing that we have, we have what we have, especially here in the States, I was just kind of blown away. And so I had an opportunity to go outside of the city one day where we saw this school that had been demolished right before, right after the earthquake that happened in 2010, and they rebuilt it with reclaimed plywood. And the school is about 1,000 square feet, and it had about 300 kids that was attending this school every day, which is just mind-blowing to me, even still today. And right next to it was a well that had chains all around it, and I asked the principal of the school why there was chains all around it. And so essentially what ended up happening was that the well had been broken. I asked how long or how much money it would cost to fix that well, and he was like, it's maybe $100. And I'm thinking, okay, well, how many people use this well? And he's like, this well is for the community, which is about 2,000 people. So it's like, well, where do they get their water if this is the source for them? And they're like, well, sometimes they'll just go get it out of the river that's a little ways away, and a lot of people will just walk about an hour away to get their water. And so, again, I'm thinking it costs $100 to fix this. So I'm asking all my friends that was with me, you give me $20 and you give me $20 and go fix this thing. And so we went right back a couple months later, and it was fixed. And that was just kind of where the idea for building stronger communities on top of water, which is our mission statement, was kind of birthed, and so was Go Build Love.
So I'm going to speak just for a minute to my sort of personal origin story, how I ended up working in this, and then I'll get to Sustainabase. So I grew up in New York, and after college, I started doing some research and realized I wanted to work in renewable energy. This is still a problem today, energy independence. We have so many wars over fossil fuels. So I picked up and moved to San Francisco to find a job in renewable energy. And what that also did was, and this is funny because we were talking about this, I was talking about this with somebody else who lives in Manhattan this morning, is you're not very accessible to nature in Manhattan. So in the week, getting to San Francisco, I hopped on my bike, I biked over the bridge, I got to the Headlands, which is this amazing area right outside, and you're just connecting with nature there. And so that together, the renewable energy plus this connection to nature started me on this journey that this was really important to me. So over the years, my career has always been in sustainability, and doing what I'm doing now, I am always looking for how can I have scale and speed and impact. And so working with large companies and small companies and governments to make them aware of what the impact is of their actions means that then they become accountable, they have to report it to people, and then they have to make targets and work toward improving it. So that's what really drives me. I work in a lot of other related areas, but in terms of the day job in Sustainabase, that's really what got me involved because I see it as having very large impact.
Okay, so the way I got started is that I actually double as a construction manager for Verizon Wireless right now on the towers side. And before that, about 10 years ago, I was a field engineer. I had a really promising budding career here. I was making good money, happy, family, all of that stuff like that. And I got rooted from here and sent to West Virginia. And I'm just gonna be candid and real. As a black man, that was incredibly scary. A black man who is from the inner city. I'm originally from Hollywood, but I live in Miami. Black man from the inner city going into the mountains, and I'm the person that's gonna install wireless signal there. And so I'm in mountains, I'm seeing bears around me, I'm hearing wolves howl, coyotes, and that was just nerve-wracking for me. And around the same time, I was losing a lot of support from people who I thought were friends and family. I was just there in that environment on my own. And from West Virginia, I got transferred to Alabama, and it was like, no, this is not for me. But the short and skinny of this is that the very place that I found to be terrifying ended up being a place where I actually found myself, found comfort, found solace, rediscovered what it's like to actually be a man. And to just take that and run with that and see that that there's nothing that I can't conquer. And I just want to actually reintroduce people, particularly, I work with anybody. I'll bring anybody out into nature because we all face certain fears in ourselves that translate from our minds outwardly. And I work with anybody, but I particularly want to see black people reintroduced to nature because every time that I was out there working, I barely saw any of us out there. And that was something that really, really hurt me because I understand as a black man why we're afraid of that. And that's why I needed to get off the stoop, so to speak, or get off the sidelines and get in the game and really help out. And COVID, when that happened, that was what really pushed me out there, where I felt like somebody was trying to take my freedom away. That's just what I felt. I felt like my freedom was being stripped by a sickness. And I know that every time I was out there, I never got sick. I never never dealt with any kind of like issues with my body. I always felt that the sun was helping to energize me, that I was, just getting fresh air and whatnot. So I felt like that was like a sacred calling to be like a first fruits or like a pioneer of sorts to help get my people out there.
That's actually a perfect transition into our next question, which is obstacles. So when you're taking critical action, you're going to face a lot of feedback. What sort of obstacles? So we have what you faced in Alabama and West Virginia. What are some obstacles that you have faced? And then how did you kind of overcome those issues and push past that fear? So we'll just start with you since you kind of spoke a little bit to it already, if you want to.
Okay, so the obstacles that I faced just pushing past the fear again was number one, not very many of my people out there in that element and in that environment. And number two, the element of fear that most people face is the wild animals. Again, like I said, again, I'm telling you, I've come across some of the things that people see on Discovery Channel or, Nat Geo or whatnot, that when you watch it, you're terrified. And one thing I can tell you is that these animals do not do any harm to anybody. If you mind your business, you don't corner it, you don't try to go pet it. The animal will just see you and just go about his business. I mean, rattlesnakes, bears, panthers, these types of animals that you would really be terrified. She's shaking her head. And believe me, I understand the hesitation, but the animals feel the same hesitation that we feel. The difference is that they're far more intuitive than we are, and they can feel your energy. They know if you're afraid, and if they're afraid and you don't run away and you just kind of hold your ground, they're just going to go about their business and you go about yours, and that's about it. But it's difficult at first to push through, but believe me, like I was there on my own, and now I'm there voluntarily on my own.
She's like, yeah, all of those things are out to get you. That's everything you just said was a lie. No, just so for us, I would say one of the biggest obstacles that we find is people, and people that have the leadership chops or even the heart to do what it is that we're trying to do. The world in and of itself, the drinking water, and that's kind of the area that we focus on, is drinking water. Only less than 1% of all of the world's water is drinkable. And so how do we set people up around the world, especially in impoverished communities, to be able to access that water first and foremost, but then be able to drink that same water without it making them sick? So around the world, all of the technology that we would need to completely eradicate the water issue in the water crisis in the whole world already exists. So the technology exists, the financial resource already exists. It's the people, right? So it's the people that we need to be able to help us to truly accomplish what it is that we envision accomplishing.
There are lots of different obstacles. I'm going to focus on one. It kind of goes back to the people thing again. So as you might imagine, so I work with, like I said, different sized companies and governments, and there may be people who are being asked to get involved in this and spend their time on it, and they don't want to, and they don't believe in it, and they, kind of muck up the process. So that's a big obstacle. But what I like to do is flip it and look at it as an opportunity. So I feel like a lot of the impact that I have is by educating and by bringing these people into the fold, people who work in facilities for a manufacturer who have not thought about climate change all of a sudden have to think about it. So turning it into an opportunity, especially if I get an opportunity from management to go in and speak to hundreds of employees, like they're finding that people are slowing things down, to really try to inspire them, get them understanding why we're doing this. So each of those is an opportunity, but it's definitely a struggle, so it's got both.
So you hold on to it. So you have these struggles. What motivates you to keep going? So when these hard times hit, what really is the thing, the driving force behind you? Is it a person? Is it an idea? Is it a hope for a better future?
So I'll focus on two. One is I have children. So I didn't, to be honest with the room, I didn't know that I actually didn't know if I wanted children. In my 20s, I married a guy who knew he wanted children, so we have children, and I'm glad that he had that opinion. They're amazing. And so they keep me going. They are older now, and they are both, one's in college and one's about to go in college, and they're both going to work in this space. So that's really exciting. But they worry about this, and they're both talking about where are they going to live that's safe and not going to be dystopian. So they keep me going. Also, being outside in nature keeps me going. Every vacation, every moment I have, so I think we all have this in common. I am outside, I am connecting, and wanting to just preserve things for the creatures and for us. And then I guess the last thing is seeing a lot of inequity that is coming out of what we are doing to the climate, and trying to really work at the intersection of equity and fixing this so that people don't suffer. So there's a lot of things motivating me, I would say.
So for me personally, I would say that it's just the power of one. because of the work that we do and the places that we do it, it can in a lot of ways just be overwhelming and quite daunting. But one of the things that I've kind of learned to hold on to that has kind of encouraged me to keep going is just to focus on the one. So when we encounter that one person or that one family or that one community that like truly takes hold of the work that it is that we're trying to do, and then they automatically and almost intuitively see the necessity and the power that is coming from just being able to get a drink of clean water makes a huge difference. And so we just try to hold on to, oh, wasn't it awesome yesterday that one kid or that one mom was like, yes, thank you, this is exactly what we need. We know that this will change a lot of other things for me and my family.
Awesome. That's awesome. I want to piggyback a little bit off of what Holly said. Number one, my motivation would be my sons. I have 4 boys. And the oldest one is 11, the youngest one is 6. And I remember being their ages and always wanting to go out into nature, but being afraid and having parents who were even more afraid than I was. So that was an absolute no, that wasn't happening. And as I take them out, I see that they're really fearless. And for them to be so young and to be unafraid and to be so they're just soaking in every bit of the opportunity, every bit of the information that comes to them out there. I know that when they become my age and when they're, pushing 40 like I am, there's not going to be any qualms or any issues with them. And they actually aspire to do the same thing that I do. And one more motivation I'll say is I've had the opportunity to work with 2 organizations in Palm Beach County. One is the EJS project there in Delray Beach. And I've taken them out on several tours, and those kids, when they get out there, they have no exposure to nature prior to that. But when they go out there, they beg to go back. And I've also worked with, I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with them, but they're called Inner City Innovators. They're in West Palm Beach. And I've worked with them. Oh, what's your name, ma'am? Jess is my buddy now. Jess is here with all of you. All are my friends, but Jess is like, she knows everything. So yes, I have worked with Inner City Innovators, and these are kids who what the name sounds like. They're coming from the inner city. Some of them have had lost relatives or lost friends in gun violence and things like that, and they go out there, and it's been life-changing experiences for them. So seeing that I can take what I learned and translate that to other people, and they, from an earlier age, let go of some of the fears and anxieties that hold them back, that's definitely going to continue to motivate me.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up with some parting words. What are your final words of advice to everybody out here who might be trying to take some sort of critical action on an issue, whether it's personal, whether it's in their job or systematic? What do you recommend them to do?
I'm going to recommend you to go out into nature. I'm sorry, that's just where I'm going to go. Again, from what I said in the beginning, I found myself there because nature is, a lot of people consider it like a mother, and it is very nurturing to you. Everything that you need is there. There's free food, there's free water, there's free lessons, there's education, there's literally whatever you need can be found in nature. So I'm going to encourage you to go there for you to take critical action on whatever you need to do.
I would say that if you're something stirring up in your heart to go chase the dream or the thing that has been put on your heart to go do, is to stop waiting for permission to do it. I think that's one of the things that we live in a world where we think we have to get someone's approval, or whether that's our spouse's approval or our family's approval or a friend's approval to go do the thing. So whether it's starting up a coffee shop, or whether it's starting a nonprofit, or whether it's taking folks to go wrangle gators, like that's what you have to do. I think the thing that the world, so this is what I believe the thing that the world needs the most is already in you. And in order for you to give the world what it needs, you have to stop waiting on someone to give you the permission to go do it.
Thank you. And I think if you look at all 3 of us up here, we all do what we do because we went in through like this one passion doorway. For each of us, it's different. We're all connected, but we found this one doorway in. So I would say that idea of finding that thing and focusing on it and then talking to people about it. Like you put it out into the universe and then people will connect you to other people. It works every time. If you can verbalize it, you will find your people and you will find your path. And just to put one little plug out there, if you're interested in the climate space, I'm a co-leader of a climate reality chapter that goes through all of Palm Beach County and southern and northern Broward. And if you were interested, whether in what we do or something else, we're connected to all the other groups that are doing this. So what we do is we have people come, hear what we're doing. If we're not doing what you're interested in, we can connect you with other people that will help you connect with that passion. And there are other groups in other spaces just like ours, obviously unclimate related, that can help you connect with the people that can help you get focused and get moving on your thing.
Awesome. I'm just going to piggyback off that real quick. I had the opportunity to talk to Captain Paul from Sea Shepherd, and he said, just words from him because we all know what he does with the whale wars. He said, just do what you can. Like, everybody's so concerned about making perfect action that you don't do anything. So just do what you can. So I want to thank you guys for coming. Real quick, where can people find you guys?
A couple of different websites. Rock and Water is our frozen treat shop. It's ROKANDWTR.com. And then if you fart around in there long enough, it'll take you to our nonprofit website, which is gobuildlove.org. And then we're on social media everywhere for both of those.
So please find me on LinkedIn. It's my very long name, Holly Lichtenfeld. Great that we had the kids, but the last name's not awesome. And the company, Sustainabase, you can find us online, also sustainabase.com, and also we're most active on LinkedIn. So thank you.
I'm online, DonnellMcCantOutdoors.com. That website is being revamped right now. Should be back online in the coming weeks. And you can mostly find me on Instagram, Donnell McCant Outdoors.